Oakhaven, a small town, nestled on the rugged coast of Maine, known for its salty air and quaint charm. The town was a picture postcard, until the fog came. The saltbox houses huddled together, their windows like watchful eyes. Fishing boats bobbed gently in the harbor, seagulls cried out overhead. Life was simple in Oakhaven, predictable. Then the disappearances began. Claire Sterling, a journalist, arrived in Oakhaven, drawn by the stories, the missing persons reports. She had a nose for a good story, and a sense for the truth. Oakhaven held a story, she could feel it.
Her car rumbled down the main street, past the empty shops, past the worried faces peering from windows. The town felt heavy, laden with secrets.
She parked near the harbor. The air was thick, with salt and fear. The disappearances had started weeks ago. First it was Old Man Hemmings, a fisherman lost at sea. Then young Sarah vanished from her bedroom. No trace, no explanation. Whispers turned to fear.
Claire visited the grieving families, listened to their stories. Their pain was real, their fear palpable. Each disappearance was the same, sudden, unexplained, and always accompanied by the fog.
Claire stood on the cliffs, watching the fog roll in. It moved like a living thing, swirling, creeping, consuming. It swallowed the town whole.
The air grew cold, damp. An unnatural chill ran down her spine. She had never seen fog like this. It was different, ominous. It carried a weight, a heaviness that pressed down on her, on the town, on everything it touched. She felt a shiver and a growing unease. Through the swirling fog, a light pulsed, steady, unwavering, the Oakhaven light. The lighthouse stood on a rocky outcrop, a sentinel against the storm, a beacon in the fog, but also perhaps a clue.
Locals told stories of a ghostly lightkeeper, a tragic accident, a curse.
Claire dismissed them as superstition, but the fog, the disappearances, the lighthouse, it all felt connected. She had to see for herself. The old lighthouse door creaked open. Claire stepped inside. Dust and silence greeted her. The air was heavy, oppressive. She climbed the winding stairs, each step echoing in the stillness.
Then she saw him. A figure, tall and gaunt, standing on the platform, his back to her. He wore the garb of a lighthouse keeper, his hand resting on the great lamp. "Hello?" she called out. The figure didn't move.
The figure flickered, then vanished. It was as if the shadows themselves had come to life, only to dissolve into the ether. The air grew colder, and an unsettling silence filled the room. Claire rushed to the platform. Empty. The vast expanse of the sea stretched out before her, shrouded in a thick, impenetrable fog. She could feel the weight of the unknown pressing down on her, the eerie stillness amplifying her sense of dread. But on the floor, a leather-bound journal lay open. She picked it up. The cover was worn, the pages yellowed with age. It seemed to pulse with a life of its own, as if it held secrets waiting to be uncovered. The pages were filled with faded ink. The lightkeeper's log. Each entry was a window into a world long past, a chronicle of solitude and duty. The handwriting was meticulous, yet there was a tremor in the strokes, hinting at the lightkeeper's growing unease.
She read of his loneliness, his love for the sea. The journal spoke of endless nights spent watching the waves crash against the rocks. The lightkeeper's only companions, the stars and the distant call of seabirds. His fear of the fog. It was not just a natural phenomenon to him, but a living, breathing entity. The fog seemed to have a mind of its own, creeping closer each night, whispering secrets that only he could hear. He wrote of strange occurrences, whispers on the wind, figures in the mist. The journal detailed encounters with ghostly apparitions, shadows that moved with intent, and voices that seemed to come from the very heart of the fog. And then, an entry that chilled her to the bone. "The fog takes them." The words were scrawled hastily, as if written in a moment of sheer terror. The lightkeeper's fear was palpable, leaping off the page and wrapping around her heart. "And now, it comes for me." The final entry was a desperate plea, a warning to anyone who might find the journal. Claire felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized the lightkeeper's fate was now intertwined with her own.
The fog outside grew thicker, swirling violently, pressing against the lighthouse windows. The air crackled with energy, with fear.
Claire felt a cold dread creep into her heart. The log, the disappearances, it was all connected.
The lighthouse itself seemed to shudder, groaning under the assault. And then she saw them, faces in the fog, pale and mournful, reaching out towards the lighthouse, towards her, trapped. The ghostly lightkeeper reappeared, his form more solid now, his face etched with sorrow and anger. He turned towards Claire, his eyes burning with an eerie light.
You shouldn't be here.
He boomed, his voice echoing through the chamber.
I know what happened. You tried to warn them, to save them.
The lightkeeper's spectral form flickered, his sorrow palpable.
But the fog, it took them all.
Section 10. Lifting the Fog of Sorrow. This chapter delves into the depths of human emotion, exploring the weight of sorrow and the journey to lift its heavy veil.
Claire remembered a passage from the journal. It spoke of ancient wisdom, a time when rituals were the bridge between the living and the dead. A mention of a ritual. This ritual was said to have the power to communicate with the spirits, to understand their pain and help them find peace, a way to appease the fog. The fog was not just a natural phenomenon but a manifestation of unresolved sorrow and trapped souls. To release the trapped souls, she had to try. Claire felt a deep sense of responsibility, knowing that these souls were bound by their grief and needed her help to move on.
She held up the lightkeeper's journal. The pages were weathered, filled with the lightkeeper's notes and observations, a testament to his own struggles with the fog.
Let them go. Let them find peace. Claire's voice trembled as she pleaded with the spirits, hoping they would hear her and understand her intentions.
The lighthouse shuddered. It was as if the very structure could feel the weight of the sorrow it had witnessed over the years. The fog swirled faster, a vortex of mist and despair. The air grew colder, and the sound of the wind howling through the fog was almost deafening. The ghostly faces cried out, their sorrow echoing around Claire. She could feel their pain, their longing for release, and it strengthened her resolve. The lightkeeper turned towards the sea, his form flickering, fading. He seemed to acknowledge Claire's efforts, a silent thank you before he slowly disappeared into the mist. Section 11. Freeing the Lost Souls. A gust of wind slammed through the lighthouse, extinguishing the lamp and plunging the room into darkness. Claire shielded her eyes. Then, just as suddenly, calm. The fog outside was receding. The ghostly faces were gone. The lightkeeper was gone too. Only the echo of his sorrow remained. Claire stood there, in the darkness, feeling the weight of the experience, the weight of the town's grief, and its release. Section 12. Oakhaven breathes again. When Claire emerged from the lighthouse, dawn was breaking. The fog had vanished. The sun shone brightly. The town of Oakhaven seemed to breathe again. The air was lighter. The shadows gone. She returned to the town, shared what she had learned. The townspeople listened, their faces a mixture of disbelief and relief. The truth, however fantastical, brought them a measure of peace. The missing were gone, but not forgotten. Section 13. The Truth in the Fog. The fog rolled in, thick and impenetrable, casting an eerie silence over the town of Oakhaven. It was as if the very air held its breath, waiting for something to happen. Claire left Oakhaven a changed woman. The events she witnessed had etched themselves into her soul, altering her perception of reality forever. She could no longer see the world through the same innocent eyes. She wrote about her experience, about the fog, the lightkeeper, the lost souls. Each keystroke was a cathartic release, a way to process the haunting memories that plagued her. Her words flowed like a river, capturing the essence of the fear and mystery that had enveloped her. Her story sent chills down the spines of readers. They could almost feel the cold, damp fog wrapping around them, hear the whispers of the lost souls in the night. It was a tale that resonated deeply, stirring emotions they didn't know they had. It served as a reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed. The abandoned buildings and dark forests held stories that were better left untold, mysteries that were safer when they remained hidden. But it also offered a glimmer of hope. Amidst the darkness there was a light that shone through, a beacon of resilience and strength. It was a reminder that even in the bleakest of times, hope could still be found. A testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Claire's journey was not just one of survival, but of transformation. She emerged stronger, more determined, and with a newfound sense of purpose, and the possibility of finding peace, even in the face of unimaginable loss. The gravesite became a place of solace for her, a sanctuary where she could mourn and heal. It was a reminder that peace could be found even in the most unexpected places. The fog may return to Oakhaven. Its presence was a constant reminder of the town's haunted past, a lingering shadow that could never be fully erased. But so too will the memory of those lost. The memorials and flowers were a testament to the lives that had been touched by the fog, a tribute to the souls that had been claimed by its mysterious embrace, and the light that guides them home. The lighthouse stood as a symbol of hope and guidance, its beam cutting through the fog, leading the way for those who were lost. It was a beacon of light in the darkness, a reminder that no matter how thick the fog, there was always a way home.